There is a truth that modern science and ancient wisdom are beginning to agree upon. Reality is not fixed. You are not bound to one single path, one single destiny, or one single identity. Instead, you exist within a field of infinite possibilities, parallel realities, each one holding a different version of who you are and what you can become. Every thought you think, every feeling you allow, and every belief you hold is like a frequency broadcast. And the universe, this vast quantum field, responds to those frequencies. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are resonating with. That means the life you are experiencing right now is simply a reflection of the vibration you've been broadcasting. So here is the question. If reality is not fixed, if there are countless versions of you already existing in potential, how do you step into the one you truly desire? The answer lies in energy awareness and choice. When you think of yourself as a victim of circumstance, you tune into a reality where you keep experiencing the same pattern: struggle, limitation, doubt. But the moment you choose to think differently, to feel differently, you shift the dial. You begin broadcasting a new frequency, and the quantum field, like a cosmic mirror, reflects back that change. Imagine waking up tomorrow and deciding to embody the version of you who is confident, abundant, healthy, free. Not wishing for it, not hoping for it, but actually feeling it now in the present moment. When you generate those feelings ahead of the evidence, you collapse infinite possibilities into one reality, the one where you already are that person. Think of it this way: the future you desire already exists. The confident you, the successful you, the healed you, they're not far away. They're vibrating on a higher frequency, waiting for you to align. The bridge between your current self and that future self is not time, it's vibration, it's choice. So how do you step into that better version of yourself? You begin by changing your inner world. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, move beyond the chatter of your mind. Feel gratitude for a life that is already unfolding in your favor. See yourself already living as the person you wish to become. The more real you can make it in your inner world, the faster it manifests in your outer world. Because here's the truth: you are not waiting for your new reality to come to you. Your new reality is waiting for you to show up as the person who belongs there. Every time you choose love over fear, gratitude over lack, courage over doubt, you are stepping into a parallel reality where that version of you already exists. And as you repeat that choice moment by moment, your external world reorganizes to match the new frequency you are holding. So I leave you with this: you are not bound by who you were yesterday. You are not trapped by your past. Right now, in this very moment, you have access to infinite versions of yourself. The question is, which version will you choose to embody today? When you align with the energy of the person you wish to become, you don't just think about a better life. You shift into it. Reality is not fixed. Most of us grow up believing that reality is rigid. That life is a single, unchangeable storyline moving in a straight line from past to future. We're told that we are who we are, and that change is a slow, difficult process, something that requires years of effort, struggle, and perhaps even luck. But modern discoveries in quantum physics, as well as timeless spiritual teachings, are revealing something far more profound. Reality is not fixed. It is fluid, dynamic, and constantly reshaping itself in response to our state of being. Think of reality not as a single road, but as a vast network of infinite pathways stretching in all directions. Each path represents a parallel reality, a version of your life that already exists in potential. There is a version of you that has already broken free from old patterns, a version that has already healed, a version that is abundant, fulfilled, and thriving. At the same time, there are versions of you that remain stuck in fear, scarcity, and limitation. All of these possibilities exist right now, simultaneously. The question is, which one are you tuning into? You can compare this to a radio. All the stations are broadcasting at the same time. Jazz is playing on one frequency, rock music on another, classical on another, and news on yet another. but you don't hear them all at once. You only hear the one you are tuned to. In the same way, infinite versions of reality are available, but the one you experience is the one you are emotionally and mentally aligned with. When you say, "This is just the way my life is," you are locking yourself into a single frequency, a single reality. You are unconsciously reaffirming the idea that life is fixed, that your circumstances define you. But the moment you begin to question that belief, you open the door to something greater. You begin to realize that you are not a victim of a single storyline. You are the conscious chooser of which version of reality you will experience. Quantum physics teaches us that particles exist in a state of probability until they are observed, and only then do they take on a definite form. In the same way, your future is not predetermined. It exists as a cloud of probabilities, waiting for your attention, your focus, your energy to collapse it into form. When you wake up every day repeating the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, and acting the same way, you are observing the same version of reality into existence. You are unknowingly selecting the same pathway over and over again. But the truth is liberating. You don't have to keep tuning into the same channel. You can shift. You can change the frequency. You can move from a timeline of struggle to one of expansion, from limitation to abundance, from pain to healing. And the key to this shift begins in the present moment. If you want to step into a better version of yourself, you don't wait for life to change first. You change your energy, your thoughts, and your emotions now in the present. You align with the reality you desire before the evidence appears. That's how you change stations. That's how you shift timelines. And that's how you step into a parallel reality that matches the higher vision you hold. So the next time you catch yourself believing that this is just the way life is, remember this truth. Reality is not fixed. You are not stuck. You are far more powerful than you realize, because in every moment you are standing at a crossroads surrounded by infinite possibilities. And the version of you that you choose to embody today determines which reality you will walk into tomorrow. You broadcast frequencies. Everything in this universe is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. The chair you sit on, the device you're holding, the air you breathe, even your very thoughts and emotions, all of it is energy. And here is the key: energy carries information. Just as a radio signal carries the sound of a song or a broadcast, your personal energy carries the message of who you are and what you expect from life. Most people are unaware that they are broadcasting a frequency every single moment. Your thoughts are electric, your emotions are magnetic, and together they generate a field around your body that the quantum universe responds to. This means that you don't attract what you want simply by wishing for it. You attract what you are broadcasting through your inner state. If your mind is constantly filled with thoughts of lack, "I never have enough, things never work out for me," then you're sending out a frequency of scarcity. And the universe, like a perfect mirror, reflects back more situations to confirm that broadcast. If your heart is locked in emotions of fear or doubt, you tune into a reality that keeps presenting you with circumstances that justify those feelings. In other words, your outer world is simply a reflection of your inner broadcast. Now imagine shifting that frequency. Instead of unconsciously radiating fear, lack, or doubt, what if you consciously began to broadcast gratitude, abundance, and love? The moment you do, you shift your energetic signal. You are no longer resonating with the same version of reality. You're tuning into a parallel reality where life feels lighter, opportunities appear, and synchronicities unfold. Think of a tuning fork. If you strike one tuning fork, another fork tuned to the same note will begin to vibrate even without being touched. This is resonance. The same principle applies to you and the universe. Whatever vibration you are holding, the quantum field resonates with it and amplifies it back into your life. This is why it's not enough to just think positively for a few minutes and then return to old emotional habits. Your frequency isn't shaped by random thoughts alone. It is shaped by the emotional state you dwell in consistently. Emotions are the fuel behind your broadcast. When you live in elevated emotions, joy, gratitude, compassion, inspiration, you are sending a coherent, powerful signal into the field. That signal begins to draw experiences that match those elevated states. So the real question becomes, what are you broadcasting right now? Are your thoughts and emotions aligned with the version of reality you want to experience, or with the one you are trying to escape from? If you keep broadcasting stress, worry, and resentment, you can't expect to shift into a life of peace, abundance, and freedom. You have to first embody the frequency of the reality you desire before that reality can reveal itself. This is not about pretending or faking. It's about practicing a new internal state until it becomes natural. When you consistently feel gratitude before anything has changed, you are teaching your body to believe that the new reality is already here. And once your inner world aligns, your outer world has no choice but to reorganize itself to match. Remember, you are like a transmitter, constantly sending signals into the field. But unlike a radio tower that only plays one station, you have the power to change your broadcast at any moment. You are not stuck with the frequency of your past. You can choose right now to emit a new vibration. And when you do, you are no longer bound to the same experiences. You are tuning into a parallel reality where the best version of you is already waiting. Shift happens through awareness and choice. Most people live their lives on autopilot. They wake up, think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, do the same routines, and repeat the same patterns day after day. In fact, neuroscience tells us that by the age of 35, 95% of who we are is a set of unconscious habits, programs, and memorized behaviors. That means only 5% of our lives are created consciously. The rest is simply a repeat of the past. When you live this way, life feels predictable. The same problems keep showing up, the same emotions keep resurfacing, and it feels as if you are trapped in a cycle that you can't escape. But the truth is, you are never trapped. The cycle continues only because you are not aware of it. Awareness is the first step to change. Think of it like this. Imagine you're driving down a road with the GPS locked into a certain destination. Unless you become aware of where the GPS is leading you, you'll keep driving unconsciously toward that same place, no matter how much you say you want something different. But the moment you become aware of the program, you gain the power to interrupt it. You can stop, change the coordinates, and head somewhere entirely new. The same principle applies to your life. Awareness allows you to see the thoughts that have been keeping you small. It allows you to notice the emotions you've been unconsciously rehearsing: fear, anger, self-doubt, or worry. And once you recognize these patterns, you can make a new choice. Choice is the power to step into a different future. Here is the secret: a shift doesn't happen through force or struggle. It happens the moment you become aware of your old patterns and then choose differently. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never be successful," awareness allows you to pause and ask, whose voice is that? Is that truly me, or is that just an old program? In that pause, you create space for choice. You can choose to replace that thought with one that aligns with your higher vision. I am capable. I am worthy. Success is my natural state. And when you choose a new thought consistently, it begins to generate a new emotion. That new emotion becomes the fuel for a new broadcast, which aligns you with a new reality. It may feel unfamiliar at first, because your brain and body have been conditioned to the old self. But with practice, the new self becomes more natural, and the old self begins to fade. Choice is what makes us powerful creators. Every moment offers us two directions: to fall back into the unconscious past or to step forward into the conscious future. When you choose courage over fear, gratitude over resentment, love over anger, you are tuning into a higher version of yourself. And the more you choose, the more momentum you build in that direction. Remember, life is not happening to you. It is responding to you. The universe is not deciding which version of reality you experience. You are, and the instrument you use to navigate is awareness and choice. Without awareness, you are blind to the programs running your life. But with awareness, you can see clearly. And with choice, you can step into the timeline that reflects the person you truly want to become. So, the invitation is simple: begin to notice. Notice the thoughts that keep you in the past. Notice the emotions that lower your energy. And in those moments, exercise the most powerful ability you have, the ability to choose differently. That choice, repeated over and over, is what shifts you from one parallel reality into another. The future you already exists. One of the most liberating truths you can ever realize is this: the version of you that you dream about, that you visualize, that you hope to become, already exists. It is not something you have to build from scratch. It is not something you have to chase endlessly. In the quantum field of infinite possibilities, every version of you exists right now. The confident you, the abundant you, the healed you, the fearless you, the joyful you, they are all there, vibrating at different frequencies, waiting for your alignment. Most people believe that they must wait for life to change before they can feel different. They think, once I have the job, then I'll feel successful. Once I meet the right partner, then I'll feel loved. Once I heal, then I'll feel whole. But that mindset keeps them stuck because they are waiting for the external world to confirm something that can only begin in the internal world. Here's the quantum truth: the future you want is already alive in the field of possibilities. And the only reason you haven't experienced it yet is because you haven't aligned with it. You've been tuned to the frequency of the old self, while the version you desire vibrates at a higher level. Think of it like this: you don't create the radio station when you turn the dial. You simply tune into the frequency that was already there. The same is true for your future self. That version of you is already broadcasting. Your job is to match the signal. So how do you match it? By embodying the emotions of that future self now, in the present. If the future you is confident, you must begin to feel confidence today, even before you see the evidence. If the future you is abundant, you must practice gratitude and richness in your emotions, even if your bank account hasn't changed yet. If the future you is healed, you must live in the energy of wholeness, even while your body is still recovering. When you do this, you collapse the gap between future and now. You stop waiting for some distant day and start living as if it is already here. And the quantum field, which responds to who you are being in the present moment, begins to reorganize reality to match that state. It's important to understand that the future doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. The future you walk into is the one you've rehearsed emotionally in your heart and mind. Every thought, every visualization, every feeling you generate is like a rehearsal for that new self. The more real you can make it in your inner world, the faster it becomes your outer world. This is not about wishful thinking or daydreaming. It's about embodying. When you feel the emotions of your future self so deeply that your body believes it's already true, you are reprogramming your biology to that new reality. Your brain begins to fire new neural pathways, your heart sends out a new electromagnetic signal, and your entire being becomes a living match to the version of you that already exists. So instead of asking, when will I become that person? Ask, how can I align with that person right now? Because the truth is, you don't need to chase your future. You need to remember it. You need to tune into it. You need to step into it, moment by moment, by choosing the thoughts, emotions, and actions that belong to that higher self. The future you are longing for is not out of reach. It's already here in the field of infinite potential. The only question is, will you wait for it, or will you choose to embody it now? Vibration is the bridge, not time. We've been conditioned to believe that time is the bridge between where we are and where we want to be. Society teaches us that if we just wait long enough, work hard enough, or suffer long enough, eventually our lives will change. But in the quantum world, time is not the determining factor. The real bridge between your current self and your future self is vibration. What does this mean? Every emotion you feel, every thought you think carries a frequency. That frequency is like a signal, a magnetic pull that connects you to realities vibrating at the same level. If you are constantly radiating the vibration of stress, fear, or lack, you will naturally align with a timeline that reflects those experiences back to you. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because the universe is perfectly mirroring the energy you're holding. This is why two people can live in the same world at the same time and yet experience completely different realities. One person may be living in constant frustration, struggle, and scarcity, while another is living in joy, abundance, and opportunity. The difference isn't time. The difference is vibration. Each person is tuned into a different frequency, and therefore a different version of reality. When you believe that time is the only factor, you unconsciously delay your transformation. You tell yourself, someday I'll change, someday I'll be happy, someday I'll be successful. And in doing so, you push your desired reality further into the future. But when you understand that vibration is the bridge, you stop waiting for someday and start living as if it's already here. This is why elevated emotions are so powerful. Gratitude, love, joy, inspiration, courage. These are high-frequency states of being. When you embody them now, you are no longer resonating with the old timeline of fear or lack. You are tuning into the reality where your future self already exists. The universe then has no choice but to reorganize itself to match your new broadcast. Think of it like a doorway. Each vibrational state is a doorway into a parallel reality. Fear opens one doorway, gratitude opens another. Doubt opens one path, while confidence opens another. The doorway you walk through depends entirely on the vibration you are holding in the present moment. Here's the empowering truth. You don't have to wait years to step into your future. You don't even have to wait months. The shift can happen the moment you align with the vibration of your desired self. When you feel the emotions of that reality now, you collapse the illusion of time. The future is drawn into the present because you are embodying it in the only moment that truly exists, the now. This is why practices like meditation, visualization, and gratitude are so transformative. They allow you to shift your vibration without needing the external world to change first. They remind you that the bridge is not time, but frequency. And when you consistently walk across that bridge through your emotions, your biology, your thoughts, and your choices, you step into a new timeline that reflects your elevated state. So let go of the belief that you have to wait. Time does not heal you, your vibration does. Time does not make you successful, your vibration does. Time does not open the door to your future, you do by embodying the frequency of that future now. Remember this, the fastest way to your future is not found in the calendar. It's found in your vibration. And the moment you choose to align with the frequency of who you wish to become, you're already standing in that new reality. Inner world creates outer world. Look closely at your life right now, your relationships, your health, your finances, your opportunities. All of it is a mirror. It is reflecting back to you the state of your inner world. If you want to understand why your outer world looks the way it does, you must first examine what you've been thinking, what you've been feeling, and what you've been believing on the inside. Most people have this backward. They believe that once their circumstances change, then they will feel different. They say, when I get that job, then I'll feel successful. When I find the right partner, then I'll feel loved. When I have more money, then I'll feel abundant. But this is living as a victim of the external world. It is saying that your inner state is dependent on conditions outside of you. And when you live this way, you give all your power to the external world. The truth is the opposite. Your inner state is what creates your outer conditions. The energy you generate inside of you becomes the blueprint that the universe mirrors back as your reality. Your thoughts send out the signal, your emotions magnetize it, and your actions solidify it into form. Think of your inner world as the seed and your outer world as the plant. If the plant is not producing the fruit you desire, it doesn't make sense to keep complaining about the branches or the leaves. You have to look at the seed. You have to look at what's happening beneath the surface in the soil of your mind and heart. Only when you change the seed can the plant grow differently. This is why meditation, visualization, and inner practices are so powerful. They allow you to step beyond the noise of the outer world and consciously cultivate new thoughts and emotions. They give you the ability to rehearse your desired future until your body and mind believe it's already true. And once your inner world changes, the outer world cannot resist. It has to shift in response. Science is showing us that when you feel gratitude, love, or joy ahead of the external evidence, your brain and body begin to rewire themselves. Your brain doesn't know the difference between an experience that is real and one that you vividly imagine and emotionally embrace. That means when you practice elevated states internally, your biology aligns as if it's already happening, and soon enough, the outer world reorganizes itself to match. But here's the key. You cannot approach this work with doubt, waiting to see if it works. That's still giving the power to the outside world. You must commit to living as if your inner state is more real than your current circumstances. You must trust that the energy you cultivate inside is already shaping your future reality. Your outer world is not random. It is not luck, chance, or accident. It is the echo of your inner world. When you change the inner blueprint, when you think greater thoughts, when you live in elevated emotions, when you believe in a greater possibility, you broadcast a new signal into the field. And because the quantum field responds to who you are being, your external world begins to shift to reflect that new state. So the real work of transformation is not out there. It is in here. It is in your heart, your mind, and your energy. Change your inner world, and the outer world has no choice but to follow. Daily choice shapes your parallel reality every single day. From the moment you wake up until the moment you go to sleep, you are making choices. Some are small and automatic. What to eat, what to wear, how to respond to an email. Others are bigger. How you react to challenges, how you treat people, how you speak to yourself. What most people don't realize is that every choice is not just a decision in the present. It is a signal that tunes you into a particular version of reality. Think of choices like stepping stones. Each choice you make moves you toward one timeline or another, one version of yourself or another. When you choose fear over love, you step onto a path that leads to a parallel reality where fear dominates your life. When you choose doubt over courage, you align with a version of reality where opportunities seem scarce and progress feels impossible. But when you choose gratitude over lack, when you choose love over resentment, when you choose courage over hesitation, you align with a timeline where abundance, connection, and growth already exist. Your daily choices are far more powerful than you imagine because they are cumulative. A single choice may seem small, but repeated choices build momentum. Just like a river carves a canyon over time, your consistent choices carve the pathway of your reality. Many people say they want to change their lives, but they continue to make the same daily choices that keep them tethered to the past. They wake up and immediately check their phone, flooding their nervous system with stress. They dwell on the same negative thoughts, rehearse the same emotions, and fall back into the same routines. These choices may feel comfortable, but they keep you locked into the same parallel reality. If you want to shift into a better version of yourself, you don't need to wait for a massive breakthrough. You don't need to wait for a miracle. You simply need to begin making different choices today, in this very moment. Choose to think one thought greater than your current circumstances. Choose to feel one emotion higher than the one that has defined you. Choose one action that aligns with the future you want to embody. This is how transformation happens, not all at once, but moment by moment, choice by choice. Each time you choose differently, you are signaling to the quantum field that you are ready for a new reality. You are no longer broadcasting the frequency of your old self. You are stepping into the energy of your future self. And the more consistently you make these elevated choices, the more your outer world begins to reorganize to match them. Think of it as training your destiny. Every choice is like lifting a weight. At first, it feels challenging. Choosing gratitude when you've been conditioned to worry may feel unnatural. Choosing love when anger is familiar may feel uncomfortable. But just like muscles grow stronger with repetition, your ability to choose alignment grows with practice. Soon, gratitude becomes your new baseline. Love becomes your natural response. Courage becomes your default state. And here's the beauty. As you strengthen these choices, your entire vibration shifts. You no longer have to force outcomes. They begin to flow to you because you are tuned into the parallel reality where they already exist. So remember this, your destiny is not written by fate. It is shaped by your daily choices. Each thought, each emotion, each action is a vote for the version of you that you are becoming. If you want to experience a greater reality, then start making greater choices. Not tomorrow, not someday now. Because the only moment you can step into a new reality is this one. Empowerment truth. There is a truth that, once fully embraced, has the power to liberate you from the chains of your past and propel you into the reality you desire. That truth is this: you are not bound by who you were yesterday. Most people live their lives as if their past is their prison. They let old memories, old wounds, and old stories dictate who they are today and who they can become tomorrow. They say things like, "This is just who I am," or "Things have always been this way." And without realizing it, they lock themselves into the same patterns of thought, the same emotions, and the same experiences. But the empowering truth is that right now, in this very moment, you have access to infinite versions of yourself. The past is not your destiny. It is simply a memory stored in your brain and an emotion stored in your body. And both can be changed. When you understand this, you realize that you are not condemned to relive the same cycles over and over again. You can choose to step into a new identity, a new energy, and therefore, a new reality. Here's the science behind it. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself. Every thought you think and every emotion you feel creates new neural connections. When you repeat the same thoughts and emotions, you reinforce the same pathways, keeping you tied to the past. But the moment you choose a new thought, the moment you feel a new elevated emotion, you begin to carve a new pathway. You are literally rewiring your brain to match the reality of your future instead of the memory of your past. This is empowerment, knowing that you don't need permission, you don't need time, and you don't need external circumstances to change before you can begin. All you need is the willingness to step into a new state of being, right here and now. Imagine it like this: in front of you stands a field of doors. Behind each door is a different version of yourself, a version that is more loving, more confident, more abundant, more free. None of those doors are locked. The only thing that determines which one you walk through is your energy, your choices, and your willingness to leave behind the identity that no longer serves you. The empowering truth is that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. The universe is not withholding abundance, health, or love from you. It is waiting for you to align with the version of yourself who already embodies those qualities. When you elevate your state, you don't have to chase your new reality. It comes to you because you have become the person who belongs there. So, the invitation is this: stop defining yourself by the old story. Stop repeating, "This is just who I am." That is not who you are. It is who you were. Right now, in this moment, you are free to choose again. You can choose to think greater thoughts, to feel elevated emotions, and to take actions that align with the highest version of yourself. And the more you choose, the more the universe responds. Because reality does not reward who you were, it responds to who you are being right now. So Let this truth settle deep into your heart. You are not limited by your past. You are not trapped by your circumstances. You are an infinite being standing in the middle of endless possibilities. The only question is, which version of you will you embody today? That is empowerment. That is freedom. That is how you shift into a better version of yourself.